In the short run, fiscal policy will, of course, remain driven by the pandemic, Omicron, etc., which means that it'll be, in my opinion, certainly on the expansionary side also in 2022. But we are now seeing a new Dutch and new German finance ministers, which actually have this thing in mind or in common, that unlike in previous times, they don't seem to have a lot of red lines when it comes to future reforms of the Stability and Growth Pact and perhaps other fiscal integration initiatives. So it very much remains to be seen, but in my sense, I guess I would say that the tectonic plates of fiscal reforms are beginning to shift in the euro area.
So would you say that the new finance minister of Germany in particular is not keen to regain that role as the main leader of the frugal states?
No, I think it's very clear. I mean, obviously he has both to sort of balance a domestic concern. He has an opposition CDU, which may be tacking to the right, and obviously his own voters. He campaigned on fiscal solidity in Germany. But at the European level, I think he seems, at least to me, to be more pragmatic. Certainly, again, a shift, ironically, in some ways also from the position of now Chancellor Scholz of a few years ago.
But do you think that he will go as far as accepting this idea that is being discussed right now, in particular pushed by the French and the Italians, that the new fiscal rules should essentially allow countries to spend more on climate policies and those investments should not count towards deficits or public debts? Do you think Germany is willing to accept that?
I think we are heading in that direction. I mean, I think the reality is also that we shouldn't solely focus on the Stability and Growth Pact because there are other potential initiatives, there are other issues at play here. We also have a question about, well, what do we do when we repay the Next Generation EU fund? Do we actually need in the future to have additional, perhaps pan-European or common European funding to make up for the financing shortfall on the investment side that we know the EU as a whole has by 2030. These are obviously areas in which both the Dutch and German industries will probably be pushing for more public investment. So I think it's important to understand that there really is a very high-level fiscal package, in my opinion, to be had here. There are some sequencing issues. We know we need to have a debate about the Stability and Growth Pact this year. We have a Next Generation fund that is only now being implemented, but if it's being implemented and it's been seen to be a success, I think there is a possibility that we can, quote-unquote, replicate that also for the climate emergency, because the legacy of the pandemic really is that we know now that if the crisis is big enough, then common European debt might at least be part of the solution. And my bet is that come 2, 3, 4 years from now, the climate situation will reach that political level.